In this video, you're going to learn how to not lose control after you make a mistake. Hey there, I'm Eli Straw, mental performance coach and the founder of SuccessStartsWithin.com. Now before we get into the video, go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you're an athlete looking to improve your mental game, because I put out new videos each day on sports psychology and mental training. Now, when you make a mistake, this is not fun at all. And it's very easy to get upset. Number one, because you didn't want to make the mistake in the first place, so you're probably a little upset at yourself. But also because you don't want to make the mistake again. And a lot of times when you get upset, subconsciously what's happening is you're feeling like I'm going to get mad so I won't make this mistake again. But we all know the truth. And what honestly happens whenever you get really upset after a mistake is that then tends to cause you to make another mistake. So it begins to snowball, and one mistake turns into two mistakes, which turns into three mistakes, four mistakes, and so on. And then you're just looking at a really bad game. But that doesn't have to happen if you know how to control yourself after you make a mistake. Now, before we get into the strategy that you can use in the moment, there's one very important thing to talk about. And that is, you're not going to not get upset. That is a very silly thing to try to aim for, just completely not getting upset at all. It's natural to get upset. It's natural to be a little mad at yourself. But what you have to do is make sure that that becomes a very small moment in time. So let's say you strike out. You're mad, but you can't then take that into the field. Let's say that you miss a shot. You're really pissed, but you can't then take that on defense. Let's say that you miss a serve. That's awful. You're really upset, but you can't then take that into the next point. You have to learn how to manage yourself once you get upset. And that's really what this is all about. It's about managing that feeling of getting upset, getting angry with yourself, and making sure that that doesn't then turn into another mistake because you can't let it go. So what you have to do is you have to make sure that in that moment, you are working to calm yourself down. And what I've found with the athletes I've worked with is that the best way to do this is through a strategy, a very simple strategy that you can use in that moment to calm yourself down. What you want to do first, immediately following the mistake, as soon as you start to feel yourself getting a little upset, is you have to force yourself to just pause and take a breath. The reason I say force yourself is because you're going to have to force yourself. It's not going to be natural to just all of a sudden pause and take a deep breath. You're going to be so angry in that moment that the natural feelings that you have, they're going to then all just start to boil up. But you have to force yourself in that moment to just pause and take a deep breath. Then what you want to do is you want to create a mantra. A mantra is something that you can say to yourself in that moment to help calm yourself down. So some very good and simple ones that I've seen are relax, let it go, focus on the next play, right? It's just something very simple. Or it could be stop, this isn't helping, focus on the next play. Or stop, let it go, it's going to be okay. Just something very simple that you can say to yourself, but it's going to interrupt those thoughts and those feelings of frustration and anger that you have. And then did you also notice the fact that a couple of those had focus on the next play in them? That's a very important piece to letting go of mistakes. Because whenever I've talked to athletes and they've given me situations where they made a mistake, but they didn't get upset at themselves. And I say, well, why didn't you get upset in that moment? And a lot of times their answer is, I don't know. I was just kind of thinking about what I'm doing next. I just started focusing on going to get the rebound or going to play defense, right? It was about changing what they were thinking about, and they started to think about what's next. Because when you're getting upset about a mistake, you're still focused on that mistake, so you're focused in the past. So it makes sense that as soon as you start thinking about the next play, you're not going to be as upset because you're not focusing on that mistake anymore. So the last part of the strategy is you want to focus on what's next. And what's next, it's going to be dependent upon the sport you play, the position you play, right? Because if you're a baseball player and you strike out and you are the leadoff batter that inning, well, what's next for you is to go back in the dugout and cheer your teammates on. And then what's next is going to be to go play defense. But if you are a basketball player and you miss a shot, what's next might be to go get the rebound. It might be to go play defense. It might be to try to get open again because you guys got an offensive rebound. So the what's next is going to vary depending on what sport you play. But that is a very important piece to it. You want to make sure you're thinking about what's next. So the strategy put simply is you want to force yourself to pause and take a breath. Then you want to repeat your mantra, that statement you created to interrupt those thoughts and to get yourself thinking just a little bit more positively. And then you want to focus on what's next. If you work on putting that strategy into practice, that's going to really help you manage mistakes when they happen during a game. Now, it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be something that you put into place and all of a sudden it's going to change everything, because you're still going to get upset. But the important thing is that you stick with this strategy, you apply it consistently, and over time it's really going to help you be able to manage yourself after you make those mistakes. Thank you for watching, and I wish you the best of success in all that you do. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already. We put out new videos each week on sports psychology and mental training. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. If you're interested in learning more about one-on-one mental performance coaching, head over to successstartswithin.com.